That would be great. Yeah, thank you. Okay. Well, as you know, I think that the last 2 times that I was here, we started talking about the 12 powers. And so I brought in a lovely little chart about the 12 powers. And Carolyn wonderfully copied it off so that each of you can have this 12 powers chart with you, and you can use it during the weeks, during the months. And then on Sunday mornings when I'm here, which is usually the second Monday of the month, but last Sunday was way too stormy. We'll be just going through the powers. Now, there is a power for each month. I'm not following the succession that Charles Fillmore put out. I'm just doing it what I'm called to do and how I'm called to do it. And so Carolyn now has the chart for each of you. They're very lovely, really. I keep mine all the time. I think that the 12 powers are my absolute very favorite part of unity. I just live them every day of my life. I draw on one and then another. They're a very foundational thing for me. So today, what we are going to be doing is talking about the power of love. And I don't know how many times a day you use the word love, how important a part of your vocabulary it is. But I use it a lot. I say, oh, I love you, or oh, I love my house, or oh, I love the color pink that you're wearing, Carolyn. I love. Yes, that would be great. Thank you. I have a friend in Reading who rarely uses the word love. I've known this person for probably 14 years now. And aside from during Sunday talks, I've heard the person use the word love maybe 10 times. So I may use the word too generically, but it's a really important word to me because it's a connecting word. My friend may not feel that way about the word. We all use the words in the way that they fit for us. The Greeks have 8 meanings for the word love. The Urban Dictionary has 36 meanings for the word love. So as we can see, there's a wide range. And when you say, I love the rain, I say, I love the rain for sure. There are people that say, are you serious? I love the sunshine. This rain is driving me crazy. Love is terrific as far as I'm concerned. So, with all of these meanings, 8 from the Greeks, 36 from the Urban Dictionary, today we're going to be more specific. We are going to talk about of the 12 powers of love, the word, the power, love. And the power of love, as you can imagine, right here in our heart center, the color for love, as you might imagine, is pink. And the affirmation that Charles didn't come up with, but I believe his granddaughter did, for the power of love and the month of love is, I am a radiating center of love. Let's put our hands on our heart chakra and just say together with as much meaning as you can, I am a radiating center of love. Once again, I am a radiating center of love. And just sort of feel that in yourself. You say that you are a
don't touch the screen,
center of
Martha.
love.
Ah.
That mean to you? When you truly focus on this heart center, what does it feel like to be a radiating center of love? Let's hold that feeling this morning as we're here together, that radiating center of love. I titled today's talk, Love, Love, Love is the Answer. And I took it from the old Unity hymn from our Wings of Song book, Love, Love, Love is the Answer. Love is the answer, love is the way. And you know, we can guess that love might be the way to peace and to harmony and to goodness. Because we are unity people. We know that. We understand that. But there are those who might be new to us. There are others in other faith groups that say, love is the answer, but love is the way to what? And you know, so often in spiritual writing, we say phrases like that. They sound beautiful, they sound wonderful. Turn within and become one with God. Or love is the way. Or I am the power of peace. But we're not told how to get there. I don't know if any of you read those little Unity booklets that come out, but I write for about half of them, maybe 3/4 of them. Excuse me. And this last year, Ellen Davenport, who is the editor of those little booklets, sent a note around to us, and she said, over and over again, we get requests from people that say, how are we supposed to do these things that people write about? And so she said, I'd like you to try within your little articles to give some how-tos. What do we do? So this morning, as part of what I'm going to be sharing, are what I believe are some how-tos to know and to practice that love is the way. But first, let's listen to what Charles Gilmore, one of our co-founders, says in the Revealing Word about love.
Here it is.
Love,
Make me
the
feel
pure
my
essence
make
of
you feel
being
my love.
that binds together the whole human family. Of all the attributes of God, love is undoubtedly the most beautiful. Isn't that a perfect saying? Of all the attributes of love, of God, love is perhaps the most beautiful, undoubtedly, he said. In divine mind, love is the power that joins and binds in divine harmony the universe and everything in it. The great harmonizing principle known to man. As we think about love, we think about the uniting principle. We think about the harmonizing principle. We think about that principle of God that brings all of us into the oneness that we know and that we have to practice love to feel the truth of it. You hear over and over again in spiritual writings that knowing is one thing, but it's the feeling. It's like when you take a class on affirmations, they say, use the words. It's the feeling that brings the affirmation to fruition. So part of our practice is to begin to generate a feeling of love. Talk a little bit about that. Myrtle Fillmore, our other core founder, tells us that love unifies us with God and that we know that we are good and we are true and we are fearless because we let these qualities well up from within us. Just imagine yourself being good and true and fearless and believing with your whole heart that those are attributes that you have within you. They are your inherent birthright. And when we focus on love, we recognize that we are love and we are true and we are good and we are fearless. Myrtle tells us, though, that love in itself isn't enough. We say, oh, love is all and love is enough. But what she tells us is true. If all we have is love on this human plane, we sort of get rocked willy-nilly from here to there. We're pretty unbalanced. Have you ever fallen in love and for the first few months of that love, it's like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to do or see anything. I just want to experience this love. And sometimes we make some unwise decisions. Then it tells us that all 12 powers that need to work together to keep us balanced. It is love and wisdom that work together in harmony. The power of wisdom, the power of love, represented by James and John, the sons of Zebedee. And they work together to keep us in balance because love without wisdom can be sort of willy-nilly. It can be blind, but wisdom without love can be harsh. It can be cold. Sometimes I think of the scientific mind. I'm not a very scientific person. And sometimes I hear very scientific people speak and I say, where's the feeling there? Now they may very much love what they're doing and how they're saying it. But unless they can generate from within that feeling of love, it can be harsh and it can be cold. So we want to balance our love and our wisdom. And when love and wisdom are linked and we connect with the mind of God, perfect ideas and manifestations cannot help but appear. Have you noticed that when you, for whatever reason, are unable to access that feeling of God, of love, balancing of wisdom with wisdom, that you tend to sometimes feel futile? I've had a crazy, like 2.5 months now, 3 months. When all of you got COVID, I got it too. And I didn't test negative for 19 days. And even after that, I know I wasn't sick the whole time, and I followed all the protocols and all. But I never got quite all the way back to how I think of myself as feeling. And then my family from Cambodia were here for 3 weeks during the Christmas holiday. And I have 3 grandsons. And my family who lives in Sacramento were here, and we were all together, 11 of us, a lot of the time. And 2 days before my family had to go back to Cambodia, my youngest grandson got this sort of cold flu stuff. And he gave it to me as a gift. And so for the last week and a half, I've sort of been dealing with that. And I've been thinking, this is futile. Am I ever going to get well again? And I know I'm a good unity person. And I know that I am fully healthy and well, just like we all are. But when we're not feeling at our highest and best, sometimes it can feel like, oh my gosh, and we sit on our little pity pot. But there are things that we can do together to begin to generate and feel that unifying, harmonizing feeling of love. How in the most difficult of times, we can reach within and we can do our spiritual work, and it is work. And we can practice, and it is practice. But oh, it is all so worth it when we begin to know and recognize, oh yes, I am love. I live in love, and I live with love. So here comes how to part. The first thing we have to do is we have to desire. Charles Fillmore told us that part of love is desire. It is from love that comes the desire. Like, I love to write. but I can only write if I have a desire to write a particular thing. And sometimes I really have to work, okay, what is it that I love enough that I want to write about today? There are people in our life that we very much want to have in our circle. And so we focus our love and our desire, and somehow or another that love goes out, and oftentimes a relationship manifests. It is when our desire is clear and when our desire is focused, we can begin to get those glimmerings of a feeling that we might label as love. If that's not a big word in your vocabulary, you might not quite have the words to describe it, but you know that something's happening inside. You have sort of a warm feeling or a feeling of connection. And it's that feeling of desire that's leading you toward a feeling and a livingness of love. I sort of talked about this one within the desire, but after we have our desire, we focus. And when we begin to focus on that we desire, we see it everywhere we look. I don't have to just love Jim, or I don't have to just love Shyla. I can love all of you because I am love. You are love. We were created to be love, and there's more than enough to go around. I don't know if you were an adolescent and were falling in love and having crushes, but I know that if I had a crush on a boy, and then another girl that was maybe prettier or more talented or something that I was, had a crush on that same boy, I think, oh, there's not enough love to go around. But then I grew up and I began to learn that there is enough love to go around. And if it's not coming from one place, it is surely coming from another. And so we focus. And we begin to see love everywhere we look. Some of you may know that song of Karen Drucker's, I see love everywhere I look, in a babbling brook. And she goes on to sing where she sees love. And that's our job. Our job is to focus and to see love everywhere we look. And we practice. And we recognize that it may not feel exactly the way we think it's going to feel. I loved when one of you this morning, maybe it was Shyla, Kadisha, maybe it was you, that talked about the little diamond raindrops that come on leaves. Yeah, it was you, Kadisha. And I don't know about you, but when I see those little diamond raindrops, there's something that just wells up in me of happiness and joy, and of saying, this is God, this is love. So we focus and we begin to see love in more and more places. Next, we give. We give out of a feeling of abundance. And we give because when we give out of that feeling of abundance, we begin to feel that feeling of love welling up within us. I had a really sad conversation last night with a friend of mine whose mother recently fell and broke her shoulder, and so she's having to live with my friend. And this particular friend doesn't feel like she can put boundaries on things, because if she does, she feels that it's not loving. And as we were talking and I was hearing, I was thinking, oh, precious friend, because you're not putting boundaries on this relationship with your mother that's living with you and can be difficult, you're not giving out of love. You're giving out of a sense of responsibility. And you are not giving to yourself. Unless we give to ourselves and can give from a full cup, we cannot be giving from love. And we may think we're being kind. We may try to be kind. But if it's not from our heart because we are not full enough ourselves, it's not coming from love. And it takes a lot of guts, it takes a lot of courage for me to say, hey, Carolyn, you're giving out of responsibility, you're not giving out of love. And then I have to do some work, and I have to do some hard work so that I can let the responsibility part move to the background and the love come forth so that that is where I'm giving from. We have to be it. We have to be the love that we were created to be. That inherent power, one of our 12 powers, that is, Kadisha, in the side pocket of my coat, there's a little, the other side, I think there's a nice lemon drop.
So that was me coffee.
Oh, who was it coffee?
It was behind me.
Oh, would you like a nice lozenger?
I got one.
Oh, okay, good. I still have mine in my mouth.
He's a smoker, he's not fit.
We be love. I don't know how to do that, you say. Well, that's where our power of imagination comes in. You see how they just all work together in beautiful harmony. How would you feel? I caught your cough. How would you feel? How would you be if you imagined yourself as being a loving person? Now I know that this morning I'm talking to the choir, but let's pretend that you don't know these things. How would you be? Sometimes you imagine a character from a fairy tale you read when you were young, or from a romance novel when you were older, or from a spiritual book. Jim and I the other night watched a program on, I think it was on Netflix, I don't think it was on PBS, and it was the Dalai Lama and Desmond Tutu talking together. They got together to celebrate Desmond Tutu's 80th birthday. And it was the most beautiful, loving time that they shared together. You could just see that the love they had, and they had been together very few times in their life, but they respected each other and they cared, and they reached out and they would put their hand on each other's arms, or they would put their hands on each other's shoulders and just look into each other's eyes and laugh. It was love being expressed. So if I'm ever feeling out of love, I can imagine those two men, and that would bring a feeling to me. And I'm a big one on believing you fake it till you make it. We have to practice our principles. We have to practice our 12 powers. And there's not a time that I can imagine that each of us at one time or another have really had to strive to feel that love that we know is within us. But because we're unity and because we are practitioners of the principles, we do the work and we reach down within and we use our wisdom and we use our imagination and we use our strength and we practice till we begin to get it. And we get that little glimmer that we may not even know what it is, but we begin to put a label on it, and that label might be love. So as we be it, we take the step of being gentle with ourselves. When we're not doing it the way we wish we could or we think we should, we be gentle. We say, you know, I'm held in the arms of God. Sometimes what I like to do is imagine myself as a tiny baby wrapped in a pink blanket, and this God that we know is spirit. We know that it's not a person out there. But I just imagine what it would be feeling like to be held in the arms of spirit in a pink blanket, just being told you are precious, You are dear. You are wonderful. There is no one exactly like you. And when we're gentle with ourselves like that, we can be gentle with others too. Because we look in their eyes and we see ourselves. We see that things that we struggle with, they struggle with too. And when that happens, it is much, much easier to love the other. So as we're gentle with ourselves, as we have desire and focus, and as we give, and as we begin to experience more and more frequently that love that lives within inside us, we remember those words of Myrtle that say, we are true and we are good and we are fearless. And we let that fearlessness guide us to ever again practicing. And we know that we are love. Just let's say that. I am love. I am love. And our affirmation, I am a radiating center of love. A radiating center of love. Now let's say it together. I am a radiating center of love. Hold that with you this week. Know that I am forever practicing love to be greater and greater love. And I know you are too. And truly, I see it in your eyes. When I was still hoarse this morning and it was still raining, I thought, I really wonder if I should go. Not because I didn't want to, but what drew me, knowing I had to be here this morning, is love. You have no idea the role you have played in my life since leaving Unity Church in Reading. It was a great loss to me, choice, but a great loss. And you have helped fill that with the love you've given me and the love you've accepted from me. So thank you. And knowing that this is Martin Luther King Day and weekend, I am going to close with a statement on love that Martin Luther King said in about 1957. I am convinced that love is the most durable power in the world. It is not an expression of impractical idealism, but of practical realism. Isn't that unity?
Again, please.
Yes. I am convinced that love is the most durable power in the world. It is not an expression of impractical idealism, but of practical realism. God is reality. God is love. Love is the reality, the durable, practical reality. I love each of you, and I bless you. Thank you.